Paint the Universe, and I'm sitting down with Zach, aka TwoFoxes today. How are we doing?
Good, man. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Excited to finally sit down, Just reached out the other day out of, was it the Tipper Fam or Tipper Art page?
Yeah, I believe it was on the Tipper Fam group. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, I saw that you were doing this, and like I was just saying to you off camera, I've been waiting for something like this for a long time. I think that our scene has kind of deserved a little bit more attention and exposure, and this is perfect. I almost started one of these myself, but like this is great, and I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. I appreciate that, and I think there's more room for pods. I think anybody could really start their pod, and I think if we could collaborate and talk back and forth about and to each other, I think that only builds it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And yeah, maybe you'll be like an inspiration for more people to do this, I think that'd be cool, because there's a lot of us that like the bass and electronic music scene is huge. And it deserves a little bit more exposure, I think.
Yeah, everyone has a story to tell, dude.
Right,
That's something I stand by.
Yeah.
The media coverage, I think we can lift up artists who are doing something new, different, and shine a light on them.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, you came onto my radar when you won the Rendezvous submission. Yeah. Right. How did that feel, dude? The whole process, if you could walk me through it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it still doesn't feel real. I've been a Tipper fan for a long time. I think the first time I saw Tipper was like 2011 or something like that at Sonic Bloom with Andrew Jones, and I think this was at Shadows Ranch in Colorado, and hooked right away. And I had never really written ambient stuff before, and my whole plan was to do two submissions, do like a head nod one and an ambient one, and I sat down and started writing the ambient stuff, and it just hit me. I really enjoyed it, and I just got lost in it the way that you should get lost in creation, and just focused on that and kept working on it until the end, until it was like, I don't know, a week into for the deadline for submissions or whatever. And I did not expect to get picked for that. To be honest, I was listening to a lot of submissions. I guess one that really stood out to me was Benji Robot, I think that's his name. Oh, yeah. And he did like a whole original ambient submission, and it was amazing.
Fan of his downtempo work as well.
Yeah, his downtempo is awesome. Yeah. And so I listened to that, and I was like, okay, that's who they're picking for sure. And then one day, one of my buds sent me a message on Instagram, and it was a screenshot of them announcing, and it said TwoFoxes right there, and yeah, I grabbed my girlfriend and I cried, and it was one of the greatest moments of my life. And then they brought us out there and just treated us so well. I mean, they got us a hotel, like they flew us out there. They fed us, and anything that I needed, they were on top of. And yeah, it was an amazing experience. And then just playing up there for everybody was a whole nother thing that is just honestly kind of like ineffable. It's hard to describe being up there. And
was it your first time at Suwannee at all?
Yeah, I've never.
I haven't been yet either.
It's a crazy place, man. It's just full of life. It's always making noise. Yeah, it's a cool place. I really enjoy. I'd love to go back. I'd love to play there again. I'd love to just go back and like hang out, actually, because it's a cool place. I enjoyed it.
That sounds beautiful. Just that submission. I have chills thinking of that moment when you realize that this could be so validating to do it, of working through something and submitting it.
Right. Yeah. And if you're if you've been doing art for any amount of time, you know that you've had these thoughts of like, oh, I'm not quite good enough, and then you can have the opposite too, where you're just like really on like your own best fan for like an hour. So yeah, I've been writing music for a long time, and like I've been really working on what my sound is, and if that's even something I can work towards. And so yeah, to get that recognition, for them to pick me was wild, and it just made me feel like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm gonna keep doing this for sure.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And also just hanging out with Tipper fam, like in the crowd and like after, like before the shows, like they're so cool. I love all those guys, and like it's a different scene from any other electronic music scene that I've ever been a part of. So yeah, it was special.
Awesome, dude. Do you work in a DAW then?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I use Reason, which nobody uses. But yeah, I just never got into Ableton. I didn't like the way it looked, and also I started using Reason when I was like 14, and I don't like changing big things like that, like what I used to write music with. I got used to it, and now I'm really used to it, and I can use all sorts of like VSTs in my DAW, so Serum, all the cool ones I can still use, and I do use those. So yeah, Reason is my DAW.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. What's your like performance flow like nowadays? Do you work off a computer, exclusively CDJs? What do you do for like performance?
It's just a laptop with, I do use Ableton to perform live, so I just basically have like try and imitate like a CDJ situation, but just on my laptop. So I have a channel 1A and channel B. I'll have all my track lists there, and then I just go from A to B to A to B to A to B, like a DJ would, and yeah, that's how I perform. Awesome.
I've only done beat making in Ableton, never did live performance with it, but it's very powerful, dude.
Yeah, it definitely works. And then like and I know like Koali, I've known Koali for like almost as long as I've been making music. Actually, we grew up in the same town in Fort Collins, and we would jam together. Like our first show, my first show and his first show ever was our first show. We played next to each other. We were in like the same little group, and
in Fort Collins.
In Fort Collins, yeah.
Okay.
And I know Koali, when he plays, at least back in the day, he would play sets where he would split up all his tracks into stems, and then he can trigger all his stems in Ableton, and it gets really complex when he plays live, or at least that's how it used to be. And so yeah, Ableton's really great for that. I just never got into it for producing and like sound synthesis and stuff like that. Just never got into it. But yeah, I do use it to perform, and then I have like an MPD that helps me control a bunch of effects and stuff that I have in Ableton. And then I have this thing called a KP3. It's this K oscillator. It's by Korg, and it's basically like a square effects pad that you touch it, it just kind of makes cool little stretchy noises, and like I do like solos on that, and some of my up tempo sets and some of my down tempo sets too. I didn't use it much at that ambient set at Swanee, just because it's I don't know how you would describe it. It's kind of in your face. The sounds that come out of that thing are intense. So, and I wanted to keep things mellow for that set. So yeah, that's my live setup. It's kind of just a simple live Ableton DJ kind of setup.
I mean, you bring some live performance aspect with the oscillator.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that. And I was looking through some of your older events. You were working with the Lysergia Art Collective, right?
Yeah, shout out Brady.
How's that relationship been?
Yeah, it's been good, man. Yeah, they have a very talented roster of artists for sure. And yeah, I think I'll be releasing a single or an EP with them within like the next couple of weeks. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Looking through, just your Instagram, I saw, you were heavy on pushing your music, like with the one-a-days. I saw.
Yeah.
It's a grind. Dude.
Yeah, it's crazy. You kind of touched on this, I think, like the last episode a little bit. Just that need to push your stuff out there, and like the whole social media game that's happening right now. And yeah, I did it for a little while. I've kind of taken my foot off the gas with that one a little bit lately. Just because I feel weird doing it. I feel weird like recording myself doing things to a camera, and like it's just like not something I would ever think of doing or feel like doing, and I just would rather be making music. Yeah, the whole Instagram thing is just it has been a means to just kind of gain some new listeners and stuff like that. I'm starting to think about it a little bit differently lately. Maybe put some interesting content, stuff that I find interesting, out on my Instagram, so that it doesn't feel like it's a wasted space to me,
Oh.
So I was checking out Mickman's Instagram today, and yeah, he just kind of posts what he wants, and I dig that, and maybe I should just do that.
I think you hit it on the head, dude. There's a way to be authentic about expressing yourself on social media. I wish it wasn't part of this grind for podcasts or any media.
Yeah. But yeah, it is, and yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm trying to think. We're going into the fall here. Festivals dying down. Events coming up. Do you have any on your radar that you're looking to play or attend coming up here?
Well, the one show that I am for sure playing is I'm opening up for Random Rab at Ophelia's. That's and Dillard would be there too.
Yeah.
That's like December 13th and 14th. And I'll be doing like I think an actual journey set for that one. So for me, I'll probably open up with some ambient stuff, get into some down tempo stuff, and maybe a few up tempo songs at the end. Which, yeah, I'm really excited about that. I like making all different types of music. So the ambient thing was a real challenge, and I really enjoyed that challenge, but I like making up tempo stuff too, and I like making down tempo stuff. So I'm looking forward to playing a full set in December.
Yeah.
Other than that, really looking forward to going to Tipsgiving.
Oh.
That's gonna be some dope music. As far as I know, at this moment in time, I'm not booked for any of those. I think that's kind of a long shot. I'm still kind of a smaller artist. But you never know. I never expected to play literally right after Tipper at Swanee. So you know, anything could happen, I guess. And I let OD know that I'm ready for that. If he wants to do that, I've been preparing. So
yeah, I think you'd be proper at the ambient or any night, dude. And I'm excited for that run at Ophelia's.
Yeah.
I've never been. Have you been to the venue?
No, apparently it used to be like a brothel back in the day.
Okay, kind of got that vibe. I was looking at the online menus that they were offering. I saw some setup with TVs, right? It had all CRTs. I can't remember.
Yeah. It looks like an interesting place, and I think that they're remodeling or something right now. But yeah, it looks like a cool music venue to me. And yeah, I definitely look forward to playing there.
alongside some killer acts too.
Yeah.
Shout out Dillard. I mean,
Yeah.
beautiful work, local too.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And the other local guy that's playing for that one is Blossom. Do you know Blossom?
I'm not familiar on there.
Play shows, good music.
Check them out here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, too many venues to count around the city. Is there one venue where you would just be honored to play around town?
In Denver?
Yeah.
Black Box.
Yeah.
I've played the other side of the Black Box, I think, once or twice, but that main stage in that main room would be so cool. Yeah, it just sounds so good in there. I've played at the Mishawaka up in Fort Collins a long time ago, under a different project, and I'd love to go back to the Mishawaka. Have you ever?
I haven't yet.
It's so cool. It's like it's down the Poudre River. You have to like drive down the Poudre Canyon for like 40 minutes, and the stage is literally just like it's like almost like hanging over the river, and so like when you're on the stage and you're sound checking, the river's just running underneath you. It's a beautiful venue and like really well run, and they got good food there too. Wild.
I've looked into it. Yeah, the shuttle, it's a new experience.
Oh yeah, the whole shuttle. Yeah, I used to DJ that shuttle. Kids up and back and forth.
Oh, cool. You had mentioned, changing projects. What led you to that change, or that decision, I should say?
Well, yeah. So I used to get just crazy anxiety. I still have anxiety, but I would get it real bad before shows, before performing, and then it started happening like while I was performing, and so I just quit. I was just like, this is not, this isn't healthy for me, and so I'm gonna just write music and not get on stage and like force myself to be like this anxious about it, and then I can still like enjoy music and stuff. And then I started doing a lot of internal work and like exercising and things like that, and I started feeling better about it. And then decided to start writing music for the purpose of performing it again, and just decided that I felt like I'd done a lot of growth and I felt different, so I wanted to start a new, different project, and so it was like the birth of TwoFoxes.
Awesome.
And that's also like why I wear that helmet. Actually, it's just like I wear it at home when I practice for sets, and I can kind of just see. When I'm looking straight, I can just see like right here. And so that blocks out the crowd for me, which helps me focus, helps me not get crazy anxiety attacks on stage. So that's, like I basically quit music for like a year or two and was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then, now I'm in a very good place with it. And, so that's where we're at.
Cool. A break is needed sometimes, man. It sounds like you came back rejuvenated, fresh mind and body.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Ready to hit it. And Cody and I had actually just talked about, the whole mask on an artist in the last episode. I think, I'll repeat it again, but like if it breaks down that barrier to get you on stage, dude, I totally approve.
Yeah.
Support that. I mean,
And I think eventually I want to get rid of it actually, because I miss being able to like see the crowd and to interact with them. But there's just like, it just takes a moment. It just has like a single thought to just derail like my entire performance and like the entire vibe that I want to go for. And so I think what I'm going to do is keep the mask, keep the helmet for a little while until I get kind of used to being up on stage again, and then maybe take it on and off, and then maybe eventually just leave it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, if it gets you there, and it's very self-conscious on stage. You know, I performed a handful of times, never in massive crowds or rooms, you know.
Yeah.
But I felt that self-conscious, struggle with anxiety day in and out too.
Yeah.
You know, and I just, you know, I don't know you personally, but I'm glad that you aren't turned to, you know, like substances or any unhealthy way to just make it on stage. Dude.
Right. Yeah. I used to do that. And that was part of the problem too. It was, that is what I would turn to, is like mostly alcohol to like numb a lot of those feelings. And then you get addicted to alcohol because you know, like it's, so yeah, I didn't want to go down that road. And yeah, also very thankful that I did not.
Good. We growing, dude.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so you said you'd only like gotten into producing ambient for the Rendezvous mix?
Yeah, yeah.
Or do you have roots in ambient, or like where are some of your inspirations for ambient, I should say?
Oh man. Probably music from movies, honestly. Like I think that's one of the first things, one of my first obsessions as like a young kid was the soundtracks from movies. I was always watching movies as a kid, but I realized when I got older that like the reason that those movies hit me so hard was because of the music, and the music made me feel stuff. And like I realized that when I would rewatch some of these movies that, you know, I haven't seen in like 20 years, and I still remember every piece of music in it. Like I watched it yesterday. So yeah.
A lot of ambient influences in soundtracks, you know.
Yeah, a
very
lot.
Spacious, almost wavy.
Right.
You know? I think film is one of the most powerful mediums, dude.
Yeah.
Between combined like storytelling, music, audio, or visual, you know.
Yeah, it's one of my obsessions in my life. And if something happened where I was not writing music, or I couldn't write music, that would probably be the next thing that I experiment with and try to create is film, I think, because I love film. And when you have good visuals and a good story and like really good music, just a movie can hit you and like never leave you. You know what I mean? Like,
do you collect any physical media or film at all? You know, like
no. I used to work as a projectionist at a Cinemark, so I would like run all the movies, build all the movies. I don't know if they still do this, but movies used to come on like multiple reels, and we'd have to like splice them together and then feed that giant reel into like the projector, and that's what played the movie. And
dude, how is audio and the movie matched up in that scenario? Because I was just at Beetlejuice the other day, dude, and I was like, how did they get it like perfectly? You know?
So I don't actually know the answer to that question. I just know that when I worked there, we would get these CDs that came with the film, and like sitting next to the big projector was like a rack of machines, and one of these machines you could put that CD in, and it somehow coded. It just like matched with as soon as you played the beginning of the film, some sort of code would trigger the CD to turn on, and then it would just play, and it would be, that's it.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not sure if that's changed now, or I don't, like I said, I don't even know if they use film anymore. I'm sure everything's digital.
I'd assume. I remember looking into when Oppenheimer came out. That's when they were doing what millimeter film? The
70.
And yeah, they had the giant spools that weighed hundreds of pounds.
Yeah.
And it was like this whole operation.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they used to deliver. I worked at Cinemark, and I remember one time they delivered a film on like handcuffs. Like this guy came in like handcuffed to these things because they're worth like multi-million dollars. Like, and then you have to sign a thing that says you've received them from the Universal guy or the 20th Century Fox guy or whoever it is that dropped them off.
There's a chain of custody for
yeah,
for,
and then
this
you're
reel.
responsible for that $2.5 million film, and then you have to take it upstairs and build it, make sure you don't do anything bad to it. And, but anyway, I think the question you asked me is, do I have any?
With the inspirations for ambient, or that one?
Oh, is that what you asked me? Okay.
Yep.
Well, yeah, film,
Awesome.
music, and film for sure. Other than that, Spangle, Ott, Tipper. I think Ott should release an ambient album. I think that would be so cool.
I can only imagine. I only really grew to appreciate him this year at Infrasound.
Really?
Man, yeah, where I finally sat down and absorbed the set fully.
Cool.
Yeah,
I've opened for Ott, I think like 3 times now, but under different names. This was before TwoFoxes when I was doing. My first project was called the Acidophiles, and then my second one was Goldilocks, and this is when I also had dreads down past my knees.
Okay.
And some of them were gold, and I think that gave me back problems, actually. Like, they weighed so much that and I had them for so long. But yeah, I've opened for Ott as the Acidophiles. I've opened for Ott as Goldilocks. He's a cool guy. He's a very down-to-earth, very chill.
Oh yeah, I got lost when he played the Queen of all of everything.
Queen of all everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got lost for about 6 or 7 minutes there.
Yep, that's a special song. It's a special song. That's about his wife. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with him,
Yeah.
I'm just glad that he's still performing it, and
Me
sharing
too.
it.
Yeah, me too. It takes. I'm surprised that he's doing it actually. Still, he's just. It's hard on your body to like fly around and to city to city and like play music. It sounds like it's, it doesn't sound as like physically draining as it actually is. But I feel like, especially maybe if you're not a big fan of being on planes like me, like it can be tough. So the fact that Ott's still touring is very excited about that, and he's coming out with a new album soon.
Awesome. I respect any touring act, magician
Right.
or not magician, DJ, comedian, could be a magician even.
Touring magician.
yeah, just mentally and physically,
Yeah.
and the sacrifices, that of your family and your friends that you leave at home.
Yeah.
I really respect it.
For sure.
That's why I'm pushing a lot of my friends maybe that I do and don't know as close to like figure out some avenue that you can do at home to support yourself. YouTube is one I watch YouTube pretty much like 90% exclusively for my media intake. I feel like there's a lot there that a lot of artists could take a hold of,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I agree. And like the variety in shows and creative shows that have been popping up on YouTube over the past like 5 years, there's so many. Yeah. Like I said, if I could just sit down in my studio and just like write music all day, and somehow the act of writing will like advertise my music somehow, that would be so cool. But that's like doesn't happen. So like there's this other part of it where you've got to push it out there, and there's YouTube's just like another avenue to do that with,
Yup, and it is really out there. I mean, showing your face and your voice.
Right.
It took me a while. Like I started having conversations a couple months ago, and only just now am I like really putting them out there in the groups, a little bit of recognition. It connected us even.
Yeah. For sure.
And I think there are a lot of dots that can be connected.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I agree. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So what is your plan? Can I ask you some questions?
Oh yeah.
What's your plan with this whole thing? Like, are you're gonna keep doing it until what?
I try not to look for a single goal or feeling.
Right.
I've been there before where I think this will be the gauge, this will be the VJ
That's the
performance.
perfect answer.
Like this will be the one that
yes.
will make me feel like I'm here.
Awesome.
And I think that having these conversations, I mean, even like when we were talking about what this podcast would look like together, this was the first time where like I'm standing by like asking to use your full name in it,
Right.
And I think I want to carry that as like a principle almost across the channel, no matter the level, of artist. I think to really bring a story behind the artist. But as far as like what single point, nothing at the moment.
Cool.
I think
That's a good answer.
growing in a bigger studio, maybe.
Yeah.
Bringing more voices.
Okay. Yeah. That's good.
More channel or more series on the channels.
Cool.
And stuff.
So you do interview people too, like just like out in like the field, right? You do stuff like that too?
I've done once at Infrasound. Kind of like my inspirations for that as far as like Channel 5e,
Yeah.
all that like a vlog interview style. I'm working on it because I feel like you definitely can't get the same quality conversation, and I feel like it's all about catching this person at the right moment.
Right.
I mean, even when I talked to Ellie Brooks there, it was just happened to be like, I happened to walk up when the ground store drop was going. And then I was like, oh, would you be down? And it happened. Mm-hmm. But some people, I don't know, you catch them at a festival or an event, they might not be in the right headspace.
Right.
Yeah, or want to.
Who's that guy? Psyched Substances? Do you know this guy?
That I interviewed? Yeah.
And no, this is somebody else that has a podcast on like psychedelics, and sometimes he goes to festivals and interviews people that he probably shouldn't be interviewing.
I mean, I've probably seen a clip, dude. Like when they can nail
he's bald.
something. Probably.
And
I don't know him by like description, but dude, those types of channels have been popping up where like you get a funny reaction or like a response and it goes viral.
Yeah.
And that's something new to the whole electronic world.
Right. I think. Yeah. But yeah, check out Psyched Substances, and then some of his interviews are hilarious.
I will. I'm looking for new podcasts, especially in the space. You're a big podcast head too. You said?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or some favorites if you're open to sharing on there.
Sure. Yeah. I like health podcasts. Anything that has to do with like how informing me on what my body is doing. Huberman Labs I'm into. I like some comedy podcasts. So like any of Tom Segura's podcasts. So Two Bears, One Cave.
The whole Your Mom's House studio.
Mom's House. Yeah. Anything they do, I'll just put that on as like an automatic thing. Mm-hmm. I've been getting back into like some Rogan episodes. Depends on who's the guest.
Yeah. I'm a fan of Rogan as well.
Yeah.
And the Adam Sandler episode the other day.
I still haven't checked that one out.
Cool little insight into it. Someone who never speaks.
Right.
I feel like.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of comedians though, or like in that comedian world.
Yeah.
What about like Theo Von? Are you into?
Yeah. This past weekend. Yep.
Oh.
And then another one, Aubrey Marcus. Do you know Aubrey Marcus podcast?
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty cool. He does he did like a 4-day blackout thing where he spent 4 days in complete darkness and then
live streamed it then?
He didn't live stream the actual thing, but he live streamed himself coming out of it, and this is crazy. This almost looks like the creation of a human just being plopped onto Earth, standing up, and then you take their blindfold off. How are they going to react? And he was just like couldn't believe what he was seeing, and broke down, and he has a cool podcast. What are some of yours?
As far as like my main listens is No Jumper is a big one.
Okay, yeah.
If you're in like the hip hop world, I take a lot of inspirations from Adam 22 as far as his interview style, and how he conducts the podcast. The studio space he has in LA is a huge inspiration.
Cool.
Another one would be like DJ Vlad. He does those one-on-one interviews, but he does it where it's only the guest behind the camera. He doesn't show himself. I didn't even know what he looked like for like years after watching him. That's a new style. But yeah, I take a lot of inspiration from the hip hop world, and that's kind of where I've seen that the electronic scene could use a lot of this.
Right.
Even down to like clipping episodes and conversations, and getting a wider audience to bring it to the whole conversation.
Right.
Take on there. Vlad. Like Roden as well. Haven't really watched Roden in a while yet. At this point, it's like whenever there's a standout guest that comes to me.
Right, exactly.
Theo Von too. Suicide Boys on the Theo Von was a standout one of the past like year for me. Dude,
Cool.
I've fallen off listening to him for a couple of years.
I can't believe the guests that Theo Von is getting on his podcast. That's wild.
It's a wide range.
Yeah.
It's a wide range.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. No Jumper is that big one that I keep an eye on.
Cool.
That I watch every day, multiple clips.
Cool, man.
Yeah. I'm working on the interview style, natural, but then still having some like a formed discussion. We're not just all over the place.
Right. A little bit of direction.
We're working on it.
Cool.
We're working on it. Sweet.
Hell yeah, man.
Awesome. So what socials can we follow you on then, man?
So SoundCloud would be like the one that would help me the most, I think. I still have like less than 1,000 followers on SoundCloud, and I like to get to that 1K and then release a mix for everybody,
We'll put the link in the video in the description right now then.
Cool.
Okay.
Hell yeah, man.
Okay.
Sweet.
Awesome. I really appreciate you coming on here, dude, and just having this conversation.
Yeah, of course. This is awesome. And I'm really excited that, you're just doing it to do it, and you don't have like this like kind of like an end goal in mind, because it'll last, and like it'll evolve, and I'm excited to see how it does.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Zach. Awesome.
Cool.
We'll catch you around, all right?
Hell yeah, man.
Peace out, guys.
Peace.